This mall looks a little brown and drab. Can we do something about that? Ooh, much better. Oh, what was the name of the mall again? Sorry, I forgot. Galleria Shops of Distinction. A little too bougie for my taste. Perfect. Galleria. Welcome. My name is Brandon. Please join me on this tour of the Galleria in Edina, Minnesota. Now you might be thinking, Edina, isn't that the home of Southdale, the original mall? Yes it is. In fact, Galleria sits across the street from Southdale, but I will get to that mall story another day. Today, we are exploring Southdale's fancy neighbor. Okay, let me rattle off some facts about Edina. Southern Minneapolis suburb, incorporated in 1888. Population was around 500 in 1890, nearly 6,000 in 1940, 10,000 in 1950, and then tripled to 30,000 in 1960. It has had a steady population growth to over 53,000 residents by 2020. Here's what you really need to know about Edina. It is a really, really nice suburb. These are people with money. In addition to the 2 indoor malls, Edina's downtown, located about 2.5 miles north of the malls, is also a major consumer destination with free parking ramps for convenient shopping and eating. I have visited downtown Edina many times to eat and see indie films. I was bummed when the Edina Theater closed in May 2021. However, in October, Michelle Mann, co-owner of Mann Theaters, announced that her company bought the theater and would reopen it in 2022 after renovations. I am excited to go back. Galleria is an upscale mall with tenants including Bachman's, Barnes & Noble, Coach, Crate & Barrel, Lululemon, Starbucks, The North Face, Tiffany & Co., and Williams-Sonoma. Bachman's is a Minnesota chain of nursery and floral stores. In my Valley View Mall video, I mistakenly said that there were no longer Bachman's flower shops in malls. Galleria is the exception. The mall has never had traditional anchors unless you count Gabbert's or Barnes & Noble. I love visiting Galleria. I have said I have loved dead malls in the past, but I love Galleria for the opposite reasons. It is such a relaxing place to visit. It is cozy with just enough lighting and narrow hallways. The mall doesn't feel long until you finish the entire trek from one end to the other. The dead mall fan in me loves the 1970s architecture that hovers over the parking lot. The staircases make me think of an old but well-maintained hotel. The history of Galleria starts in 1959, 3 years after the opening of Southdale Center, when Gabbert's Furniture Store built a 100,000 square foot building directly south of the mall. Gabbert started in Minneapolis when it was founded by Don Gabbert in 1946. In 1967, Warren Beck, the son-in-law of Don, joined the business. In 1972, the owners of the Southdale Center, Dayton Development Company, sold a 24-acre tract of land to the Gabbert and Beck Retail Company. With the purchase, Gabbert and Beck now own the land on which their store sat, as well as a car dealership, car wash, movie theater, bowling alley, and a retail building. In 1974, the Galleria Shopping Center had its grand opening. The 175,000 square foot mall surrounded Gabbert's to the south. Original tenants included Cedric's, Martin's Dollhouse, Rocco Altobelli, Scheherazade Jewelers, Schmidt Music, and Sonny's. In 1980, Galleria expanded west to 240,000 square feet. 7 years later, a competitor entered the ring. Another upscale mall, the Conservatory, opened in downtown Minneapolis on October 12, 1987. The conservatory had 5 total levels, with retail and office tenants. A pamphlet for the conservatory described the mall as reminiscent of the famous Galleria in Milan, Italy. I loved visiting the conservatory as a kid. My favorite memory was the FAO Schwarz toy store. Getting back to the Edina Galleria, the mall expanded again to the east to a total of 420,000 square feet in 1991. A 2-story Barnes & Noble was part of the addition. Gabbert's also grew to 150,000 square feet. In 1999, Galleria celebrated its silver anniversary. Their website mentioned that 9 of its original stores were still tenants. Before we enter the 21st century, we should discuss how the conservatory affected the Galleria. It didn't. The conservatory was torn down in 1998. Since I can't film the conservatory, please allow me to discuss its short history. The $70 million mall was intended to bring shoppers back to downtown Minneapolis. On opening day, both Governor Rudy Perpich and Minneapolis Mayor Don Frazier were in attendance for the opening gala. Original tenants included Rocco Altabelli, Ann Taylor, Banana Republic, The Coach Store, Gap Kids, Williams-Sonoma, Dayton's Beauty Salon, Merle Norman, and the previously mentioned FAO Schwarz. Less than a year after opening, tenants were already leaving. Visitors complained about the escalator layout. Instead of placing all descending escalators on one end and ascending on the other, people had to walk the entire length of the mall to get to the next escalator. An economic downturn also affected many high-end retailers. A mere decade after its opening, a plan was approved to build an office tower on the site of the conservatory. The mall was imploded on March 16, 1998. Even the infamous Dixie Square Mall lasted longer than the conservatory. Dixie Square was open to the public for over 12 years. The conservatory didn't even make it 11 and a half. I worked in downtown Minneapolis in the early 2000s. I walked around the Skyway system for weeks trying to find that old toy store. My dad had to break the news that the entire building was gone. Now that I think about it, I recall a closed-off Skyway tunnel that led to an empty lot. I guess I did find the conservatory after all. Three years after the conservatory's implosion, Minneapolis tried again by turning the entire block of Hennepin Avenue between 6th and 7th Street into an indoor mall called Block E. Instead of being hoity-toity, Block E was basically a suburban mall located downtown. It closed in 2011. People from the suburbs didn't want to drive downtown and pay for parking to visit a mall when they had their own. The building is now a practice facility for the Minnesota Timberwolves and Minnesota Lynx basketball teams, called Mayo Clinic Square. Okay, back to Edina. Galleria continued doing well into the 21st century. In 2001, Pottery Barn and Pottery Barn Kids, the first one in Minnesota, opened in the Galleria. If you're wondering why some shots have cool artwork and others don't, it is due to the fact that I filmed most of the footage in the summer and returned the following October for external shots and stores I missed. All of the fun murals had been removed. Another big change for Galleria occurred in 2006, with the opening of a brand new hotel on the property called the West End Edina Galleria Hotel and Residencies. The hotel was not owned by Starwood Hotel and Resorts Worldwide, Inc. Gabbert and Beck used the name under license. A hallway was added at the east of the mall on the lower level to access the hotel. The property also has residences, so you could live in the complex and never have to venture outside during the nasty Minnesota winters. There are not any grocery stores in the Galleria, but with a Target across the street to the south, you could get quick deliveries. As I record this narration in November 2021, winter is around the corner. Maybe I should move into the Galleria. Let's see, units range from $450,000 to $5 million. Okay, I guess I'll just freeze for another season. But don't think you've seen the last of me, Galleria. I will see you again for exercise in January. In 2008, a local furniture company, Home, spelled H-O-M, acquired Gabbert's to enter the luxury furniture market. A year after the acquisition, Gabbert's was split in half. A hallway was built into the western half, and a 2-story tall crate and barrel was constructed, where the northwest corner of Gabbert's once stood. Unlike the Barnes & Noble, the crate and barrel was built towering over the property instead of into the lower level. In 2012, Heinz Global REIT Inc. purchased the Galleria. 4 years later, Barnes & Noble moved into a smaller location south of its original spot. It was now a single story, but the company put a positive spin on the move. The new location opened with a restaurant called the Barnes & Noble Kitchen, with a menu including wine and local craft beer. A northeast exit that used to mirror the still existing southeast exit was turned into tenants, and a new north-south hallway was built where the Barnes & Noble once stood. The owners also built a slick-looking entrance that we saw earlier, as well as the Tall Cove restaurant. 2020 brought 2 major problems to the mall. Not only did Galleria suffer due to the pandemic, but the original Gabbert store left, leaving behind an empty 2-story tenant. Gabbert's parent company, Home Furniture, moved Gabbert's into a new Bloomington location that also housed a home store and Dock 86 furniture store. That same year, Heinz put the mall up for sale. In April 2021, Warren Beck died at the age of 75. In addition to Galleria, he also helped with the openings of Centennial Lakes Plaza in Edina, Westbrook Mall in Brooklyn Center, Burnside Plaza in Burnsville, and Bonaventure in Minnetonka. Centennial, Burnside, and Bonaventure are strip malls, so I probably won't film them. Westbrook Mall was demolished, along with Brookdale Center. A couple of weeks after my June 2021 visit, the People's Organic Restaurant moved across the street into Southdale. Was this the start of Galleria's downfall? No. Actually, no, not at all. The mall bounced back quickly when Ripon Furniture Store took over Gabbert's space, both floors in fact. As of November 2021, Heinz still lists Galleria as one of their properties, and the mall only has a few vacancies. If you are a Dead Mall fan, I imagine you will someday make the pilgrimage to Southdale. When you do, I encourage you to visit Galleria. Instead of standard pop music, you can chill out to music that dang near sounds like vaporwave. As I stated earlier, I stopped by at the end of October to film some tenants that I had missed. After I filmed what I needed to film, I bought a coffee and some cookies at Barnes & Noble. I sat right outside and sipped my drink, listening to the calming music, and occasionally staring at the fountain. Let's hear some of that music now. It's not quite vaporwave, but it sounds more like music for a mall video than the pop tunes you would hear in most malls when visiting in person. Okay, gotta switch back to something that won't get me a copyright strike. So, I can no longer avoid the elephant in the room. When will I have a Southdale Center video? I was avoiding that mall, as so many people know its history, and frankly, I didn't want to get kicked out. It's both my movie theater mall and winter exercise mall. I have spent more hours in the AMC than anywhere else in Southdale. And yeah, I guess I kind of feel like a jerk saying, I just go to America's original mall and America's biggest mall whenever I feel like for the exercise and maybe get some lunch, because I can. Since I can visit Southdale whenever I want, I decided to grow a spine and film the mall. I am planning to release a video before the end of 2021. As for the Mall of America, I may never film that mall. It would probably have to be a 4-part video with each part being over an hour long to do that place justice. It is just so dang big. Thank you for joining me on this tour of Galleria. I hope you have a good day. Take care.